Welcome to Slash Forward. In this episode, we're going to look at the forbidden film, The Hunt. If you get enjoyment out of doing things you were told not to, please don't subscribe to the channel. Let's get to it. We open on a group text wherein the participants make vague references to a hunt that takes place at a manor. We then cut to a private jet where a pretentious twat has his champagne order interrupted by a burly man who stumbles into the cabin bewildered. Luckily, there's a doctor on board who attempts to calm him with a simple medical procedure, but this bull moose ain't going down without a fight, so he's administered one and put back in the pen with the rest of them. Cut again now to a wooded area where our flight passengers wake up disoriented and gagged. They wander from different directions into a clearing where they find a loot crate and observe from a safe distance, while one of the more reckless of their rank pops it open. He rolls a Yahtzee in the form of an elaborate gun cache, but they barely have time to unlock their headgear and pair off in order of attractiveness before shots start popping off all around them. Oh, so Billy Badass is on his own now, looking for a suitable replacement partner, and he finds a sharp one.
I fell.
True, but after going through the effort of helping her, he puts her right back in the hole. A small group then finds a fence and a road, hopping it as they get peppered with arrows and hoping to follow the road to civilization. But they're told they're just in Arkansas. The new leader seems to understand what's going on as an event called Manorgate. He attempts to call for help, but the situation at the station quickly takes a somewhat negative tone. The pretend proprietors quickly clean up and prepare for an unarmed straggler that is announced to them via the radio. Crystal, our actual protagonist, gives them the doe eyes long enough to verify they're complicit in the ruse, and then gives no quarter in her retaliation. Outside, she finds evidence that they're not in Arkansas, and that all aspects of her surroundings are contrivances. When a drone is taken down nearby, their captors decide to go radio silent, and she undergoes a trust exercise to forge a lifelong bond of friendship between herself and her new awkward survivalist partner. Here, Gary shares a bit more about Manorgate, a conspiracy theory about liberal elite deep staters snatching up red-blooded conservative Americans to hunt them down like dogs. If you've ever hunted dogs, and I don't know why you would, but I do understand it to be similar in tone. Crystal, however, is more focused on the not dying than the indignation of the political implications of their situation. To that end, they're able to hop into the boxcar of a passing train, and they end up in the one car that happens to be chock full of immigrants. And this doesn't pass Gary's old smell test, but they're stopped before he solves the mystery. Old Gare hops out and tries to tell the foreign soldiers about crisis actors when one of the refugees pulls back the curtain. He claims he's the only fake and that the train wasn't supposed to be stopped, so he recommends playing it cool as they're in real danger. Gary takes this not so great and decides to pull the classic trouser pop prank on him, turning him into a fine red mist. Crystal finds herself in interrogation and sorts out that they're in Croatia somewhere. She wants to go to the US Embassy, which isn't easy without papers. However, if she admits to being part of the hunt, then she'll have corroboration from Don's independent witness accounts. So the consulate scoops them up and tells them basically everything they want to hear.
We're gonna find these animals.
Recognizing this is too good to be true, Crystal calmly and adeptly handles the situation without mercy or remorse, and luckily has her suspicions confirmed ex post facto. By nightfall, we see only the hippest of hipsters and their combat consultant are left hanging out in the pillbox. Richard is the first to step out to take a leak, but only ends up leaking from his throat. Then they pop off some bangers, putting the occupants at full alert, which might almost be enough to give them an advantage, if only Crystal wasn't so persistent and stylish in equal measure. Afterward, the leader Athena radios in, expressing familiarity with Don and turning this into a game of Mafia. But as we know, Crystal don't play games. She then has a sit-down with the consultant, a fellow service person, and confirms her brain is buzzing, and this experience gives her a unique opportunity to placate the buzz. She then compels him to tell her Athena's location, which he does. We then take a brief sojourn to 1 year prior. A friend of Athena was hacked, and sensitive material was made public. Among the material was their text thread, which was a joke, but started the Manorgate conspiracy. In the fallout, all of the participants were required to give up their jobs and retreat to the shadows, in the hope that any business impacts to their respective associations from their poor choices would be minimized. Having what was most important taken from her, Athena vows to make Manorgate real, and they use their newfound free time to pick the worst of the conspiracy theory proliferators as their future victims. Back to now, Athena uses the threat of setting off a C4 charge to get Crystal to enter the estate unarmed. Inside, Athena's making a picturesque Gruyere grilled cheese as she recounts Crystal's life to her, up to the point where she posts about Manorgate in a forum, which was an unsubstantiated lie, except for that they're living it now, but only as a result of the damage wrought by the original conspiracy, but for which they wouldn't have done Manorgate, because they couldn't, ever. unless pushed to it via deceit, so then it takes on a certain self-righteous irony. You see? Crystal reveals that there's actually a woman in her town with the same name, only different by one letter in the spelling of their middle names. So they got the wrong one. She's gonna show her. They have a protracted battle that tests the limits of their skills, and also notably uses a shotgun in a novel way, and also involves some nasty blade sharing. Ooh, grimy. At death's door, Athena asks her to come clean about the mistaken identity thing, and Crystal maintains her innocence. Related to the forum post, not everything else. Athena then expires and Crystal fuels up and walks it off. Just kidding. After sealing herself off, she utilizes the resources available to her and takes the private jet home, endearing herself to the crew by treating them like actual human beings. Honestly, this was a fun romp, and I don't really see the controversy outside of the sensitivity toward releasing it right after an instance of mass gun violence. They really towed the line by making the theme of the movie about the inanity of hyper-partisan thinking. Every character ends up looking like a fool other than the main character, who rises above by just focusing on meting out justice against those who are actively trying to kill her. If you enjoyed the video, I'd love for you to become a part of the channel by subscribing. Thanks for watching.